Yo! Welcome to podcast number 42 with your boy Angelo, and I think I'm finally starting to lose it, gang. I was watching Bob's Burgers over the weekend, and I started to talk to Bob, and when he would make a mistake, I would say out loud, "Oh, Bob, you don't need to do that. Why are you trying so hard?" So I'm now talking to fictional characters on television all alone in my house. The end is very near. This lack of human contact sometimes rears its ugly head ever so often. And I'm starting to realize it's happening more and more often as this quarantine goes on. Now, I truly do think in the next couple weeks things will start to reopen. I spoke to my mother earlier today, and she is scheduled to get her second vaccination shot early next month or close to it. It's either the end of this month or beginning of April. Wait, what month is it? April. April's the fourth month, right? January, February, March, April, yeah. And I think once things start to reopen and we can start getting together with friends more frequently, I mean, I think my insanity will be not cured, but at least will start to go back down to a more manageable level, if you will, because I can't be talking out loud to nobody. And I mean, it was pretty funny. I'm a big fan of Bob's Burgers, and one of my favorite things about that show is the dialogue, because it's, in my opinion, the most realistic dialogue in any animation show ever. Maybe ever in a television show ever. I don't know. But the awkwardness, the silence in between statements, I don't know how to describe it, but just like the actual verbal usage of that show is bar none. And yeah, talking out loud to Bob about something is bad. And I also caught myself talking to a character in a movie. It was one of my mini 80s, 90s action movies that I've been watching. I think sometimes I get too stoned and I'm into the movie. Oh, I was watching Thief. That's right. Thief with James Caan from like 1981 or some shit. And there's a really cool scene where he basically tells his wife to fuck off. He's got to take care of some business. And I remember saying out loud, "Oh, fuck, man. Don't talk that way to your wife, but shit." I mean, and I just started talking out loud like that, incoherently. LaFonda even looked at me like, this guy's fucking cracked. So, yeah, I'm now talking to characters on the TV. The only thing worse than that, and I am not doing it yet, but I can foresee it on the horizon, is talking to video game characters. That, to me, is way worse than talking to television or movie characters. And if I start doing that, I mean, I may just self-commit myself if I can find an insane asylum around here. And this is related to this predicament here, is that when I do have the ability to talk to people, I get so excited sometimes, I get so eager that I try to say everything all at once. It's like I'm just vomiting up nonsense and I just keep going. It never stops. This happened a few times at my physical therapy sessions where we're just shooting the shit, which is normal. But if I shoot too much shit, sometimes I get worked up and I start to talk so much that I forget to breathe or I'm not taking enough breaths and I just keep going and going and going. A few times while I'm exercising, I will talk so much that I will start to gasp for oxygen, and I'll be like, "Oh my God." And I'll have to start to really catch my breath and slow down. I'm like, fuck, I almost passed out because I'm fucking talking while I'm exercising. Fucking retardo over here. God, it's bad. It's getting bad. I really hope I'm not turning into that person that just has to tell a stranger all their fucking business. I mean, if that's the case, someone put a pillow over my face and get it done with. I do not want to be like that. My biggest fear is to be some jabroni in like a grocery store and the checker asks me how my day is, and I legitimately tell them about my day. Like, this fucking checkout teller doesn't give a fuck about my day. You know, they're asking me that question because they have to ask that question. I remember being that fucking guy who just has to say robotic shit to people, and the times where someone would actually tell me about how their day is going, I just wanted to find the nearest, sharpest object that open a few veins, baby. Because very rarely, when someone in retail or customer service, when they ask you how your day is going, they actually want to hear about it. And you should be able to tell. You should be able to tell. So I just don't want to be that fucking mook who has to tell everybody about his fucking business. Ugh, I need people. I need to be around people more. And this is how bad it's getting. And now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm getting excited about doing mundane things with people. Like, I'm actually excited to go to my physical therapy appointments because I can talk to people. I get excited to go get a latte now, not for the drink, but because I get a chit-chat with the baristas. I'm doing a sleep study. I'm excited to talk to those fucking bozos. Not because of the sleep, because I get to talk to people. Boy, I mean, I know I'm not alone in this, but Jesus, it is weird and fucked up. Oh boy, maybe I gotta fix it. I gotta start going out more, but do it responsibly. You know, maybe I can go out a few more times in the week to do more maybe fun things. I feel like maybe I could go shopping for some shit. You know, or maybe I could start scheduling some shit with some friends. But I gotta keep my eye on this. I do not want to be the guy who answers his own questions when he's talking to himself, because that's where you know you're too far gone. There's no coming back. I think it's pretty normal for people to talk out loud, but it's a whole other thing when they're talking out loud by themselves and then they start to answer. Like, I think this is pretty common. Like this evening, I asked out loud to nobody because I live alone. I'm by myself. I said, what am I going to do for dinner? I said that out loud to nothing, to the ether, to the blackness that is my house, to the black hole that is my house. I think that's normal. I think most people do that. Now, if I answered it by saying, "Oh, I'm gonna have Hot Pockets" or some shit, then you know you're gone, because now you're having a conversation to yourself about nothing. If you can have a conversation with yourself out loud, I mean, you're only a couple months away from wearing tinfoil hat and joining QAnon. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. But anyway, this is going to be a fun podcast. Believe it or not. This is going to be a fun one. I saw a very funny segment on one of my favorite podcasts. It's called the Bad Friends Podcast with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. Highly recommend that motherfucker. It's very funny. Very funny. And long story short, they gave Bobby Lee a "Am I Gay?" test, because Bobby Lee has some crazy stories and there's some questionable outcomes. And, well, you know, they thought it would be a funny bit, and I agreed, so I thought I would take the same test, because watching that podcast, I was remembering all of my childhood with my father and all my friends. And, you know, in the 90s, you used to throw the word gay around like it was no big deal. Anytime when your buddies did something stupid, or, you know, he came in last place in something that was athletic or sports related, you'd call him gay. We'd play Smear the Queer. My father was always making jokes about gays. He was never mean, but he was absolutely sexist. But he didn't, you know, I wasn't raised in a house of hating gays or lesbians or anything like that. But they were more of an oddity. But we didn't hate them. Definitely judged. And, but yeah, it's just the way it was. But, you know, I was thinking, gayness had a opportunity with me, but for whatever reason, gayness did not want Angelo Grosso. I was not born gay, but I had a lot of opportunities to be gay, I think. The gayness tried, but the gayness failed. I saw a lot of penises growing up, adult and from boys the same age. I used to see my dad's cock all the time, and I don't want to think that it was weird or perverted. You know, I was never molested or anything like that, but my dad thought it was fashionable to be Euro trash, and would just walk around the house naked. The blinds are open, the screen doors open so people can look through the screen, just walking around the house naked like it's no big deal. And so I saw his old man penis at a very young age, and from pretty much any time I was living there and he had to shower, that's what would happen. And plus, since I was a boy, all my other friends, there were always dick jokes, and we would always pants one another. And, the first time I ever saw pornography was with a bunch of my guy friends, and I must have been 11 or 12. Maybe, no, I definitely wasn't 10. Maybe 11 or 12. Was I 10? I don't know. It was in the 5th grade. 4th or 5th grade. I don't remember. It doesn't matter how old I was. I feel like I was a little young. And I watched it with about 4 or 5 of my buddies. And it was at my friend's neighbor's house. The neighbor kid was 1 year older than us. And he had a uncle that lived in the house with them. That he had the entire bottom floor. And his stash was this kind of stowed away hidden closet downstairs, and they had all of these old pornography tapes from like the 70s and the early 80s. And we were so excited to watch something that we knew nothing about. Because, we were 90s white kids. We watched a lot of rap and hip-hop videos, a lot of rock videos on MTV. Everything was sexualized, we were just horned up because we were at that Christian school where we had to wear uniforms, and we just couldn't wait to see tits and vaginas, even though we really had no idea what to do with them. At least I didn't at that age. And so we watched pornos all together, and I remember we all had our hands over our crotches, or we had pillows over our crotches. But then, we started doing this every day. Eventually, we just said, fuck it. We know everyone has we called it Woody, an erection. And inevitably, we all would take our penises out, and we would laugh and smack our friends as hard penises. But, they're like 11, 12-year-old penises. They're probably they're tiny. They're like little sausage wieners, And, they probably look like those little baby hot dog wieners that you get in a can for infants. But again, looking back, that is quite a homoerotic experience. A bunch of young boys with their hard peckers out running around this room laughing and wrestling with each other. But I know I didn't feel any sexual attractiveness to any of my friends. We just thought it was funny. And we were measuring penises. And it was just a funny thing to do. At least for myself, I can say that I wasn't feeling aroused later in life thinking back about this because... when I would tell this story to friends in college or nowadays, it's funny, and I like to hear what their stories around that. But every now and then, someone hears that and thinks, "Oh my God, that's awful." Are you sure you're not gay? And I'm like, no, you're fucking 10 or 11 years old. You have no idea what you're doing. So the point of all of this, I feel like I had a lot of opportunities in my life to be not straight. The gayness had every opportunity, and it just didn't work on me. Meh, you win some, you lose some, you know what I'm saying? But I have always been a little bit closer to my feminine side because, again, divorced parents. I lived with my mother and my older sister, and I would see my dad on the weekends and sometimes after school. But I was predominantly raised by my mother and my older sister. And my father is a very metrosexual Eurotrash guy, so I thought it was no big deal getting pedicures or gardening or cooking or, liking buying furniture and buying clothes and buying shoes and cologne and making sure your hair looks good, grooming, all that stuff. I didn't think that was gay, but the older I got, I used to be called a little gay because, I would style my hair or wear cologne or try to dress up a little bit. It's just what kids do to each other. I have been called metrosexual. I don't know if that word is even a thing anymore or if that term is a thing anymore. I'm not sure. But fuck it. Let's see. That's kind of my backstory very quickly on the gayness of my young youth. The gayness of my young youth. So yeah, let's take this gay test and see how straight I am or how not straight I am. So the website where I'm taking this test is arealme.com. and you just type in gay test. This isn't an MIT or a Harvard study, you know what I'm saying? But this is the test that was used on the podcast that gave me the inspiration to do this. I'd rip it off. So, okay. The gay test. Am I gay, straight, or bisexual? Take this quiz to find out now. Scientists define sexuality as a spectrum that covers a wide range of sexual preferences and identities that can evolve over time. Many people don't even find their true sexuality until they are in their 30s. Oh, I'm in my 30s. Do you wonder if you're straight, bi, or gay, or on the spectrum? Take the test and find out. I'm going to assume that I'm going to have, I would say, 30 to 40% bi on here. Is it gay, bi, and straight are the three, or is it on the spectrum the fourth? I guess we'll have to find out. All I'm going to say is I'm not going to be surprised if I have like 40% bi, like 20% spectrum, and whatever's left to be straight. I don't know. So let's take a look here. First question, and these are multiple choice. Why did you decide to take this test? To check how gay I am. To make sure that I'm straight. Just to have fun. Sometimes I have fantasies about the same sex. Well, I don't ever have fantasies about the same sex, but I'm going to pick the just to have fun one. Have you ever looked at a person of the same sex and felt attracted in a sexual way? Oh. Yes, all of my crushes are of the same sex. Sometimes, but I also have a crush on the opposite sex. Never. I am not gay at all. Very rarely, but there were a few moments when I really liked someone of the same sex. See, I would choose that last one, but I never think of a guy in a sexual way. Like, I never think of, like, doing sexual things with them. I've seen, in high school and college, I've seen a lot of hard penises and jacuzzis and, stripping and dancing and, I've seen a lot of shit. But I never once saw a penis and was like, I want that closer to me. I'm not even a fan of my own penis. I can take or leave it. But the question is, have I ever looked at a person of the same sex and felt attracted in a sexual way? I can't say I have. So I guess I have to say never. I'm not gay at all. But I can look at another man and find him very attractive. And then there's even maybe a little of a sensation of me wanting to be with that guy. But it's purely like a buddy thing. Like, I want to go watch football with this guy. I want to go smoke a bong with this guy and watch movies. But it's not like, I want to get shirtless with him and take breakfast in bed with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing romantic about it. I can just see that he's attractive. And, we're predisposed to like attractive people and want to be around them. So I feel like that's pretty normal. But I can't ever imagine seeing an attractive man and then wanting his cock in my mouth. It just has never happened. Maybe I just haven't met that guy. So I'm going to choose never. If your best friend confessed to you that he is gay, you would feel delighted and welcome him/her to the club. Get excited and start flirting with him/her. Make a joke about it. Tell him/her that sometimes you feel attracted to the same sex too. Well, I mean, I'm a little bit of all four. I would be happy. I would feel delighted if they're delighted at coming out as gay. I would get excited, but I wouldn't flirt with them. I wouldn't invite them to the club because I'm not gay. But again, I don't like how these questions are so black and white. Make a joke about it. That doesn't really say one thing or another. Tell him/her that sometimes you feel attracted to the same sex too. That's not that one. I guess I would just make a joke about it. That's what I do, but I feel like there should be a fifth response that says, be happy for them and joke about it. You just want your friend to be happy. Like, that should be one of the responses here. So make a joke about it. Doesn't seem that good though. Have you ever worn or fantasized about wearing clothes of another sex? All the time. Sometimes, but I would probably not go out in public like that. Never. Rarely. But sometimes I may wear my partner's clothes outside. See, this is a trick question because I always dress as women for Halloween. Not always, but predominantly, I have gone as some kind of female character one way or the other, the majority of the Halloweens, really since I was in college. But I know what they're asking me. They're asking me if I do it because it turns me on. And that's not why I do it. I do it because I like the character, and I think I look funny in drag, because I am a chunky, hairy, messy-haired, bearded, bear. Have you ever worn or fantasized about wearing clothes with another sex? I guess I would choose all the time, because it's almost all the Halloween. Like, I don't have a problem doing it. And now that I'm thinking about it, in the past, I have worn women's dress pants to jobs where I had to wear dress pants. When I was working at the bank, you had to wear dress pants and a dress shirt and a tie. But I was also living paycheck to paycheck, living at home with my dad, hating every day of my life. And I didn't have a lot of expendable income. I didn't have a lot of money to spend. So I would go to thrift stores to buy my dress clothes. And I remember one time I needed a pair of pants ASAP. Maybe I ripped a crotch or something, or they were just falling apart. I don't know. But I needed new dress pants that day. And I was at the Goodwill on Sunset in the Renton Highlands. And they had no dress pants in the men's section that fit. So I went to the plus size women's section and I found a bunch, and so I bought a few. And I used to wear those pants all the time. I didn't do it to get like any kind of sexual fantasy out of it. I did because I didn't have any money and they fit. And the only difference was there was no front zipper. No, there was a zipper now that I think about it. In fact, I think I may still have a pair. I think I still have a brown pair of pants. So you know what? I'm going to say all the time, because when I do it, it's nothing sexual. At least I'm not aware that it's sexual. So all the time. How frequent are your same-sex sexual fantasies or dreams? All of my dreams are about the same sex. Most of the time, never, rarely. How frequent are your same-sex fantasies or dreams? And they're sexual fantasies, sexual dreams. I'm not sure I've ever had a sexual dream or sexual fantasy about another man. I remember when I was young, I was in 8th grade or a freshman in high school, one of those two. And the joke was there was a guy in my class that a lot of us thought was gay. We never made fun of him or judge him or anything. I mean, we would judge him, of course, but we never like picked on him or bullied him. At least I didn't. I wasn't aware of any of that going on. But we would laugh and joke about it. And I do remember I had a dream that he was in my house and he was like cornering me and trying to like get with me, and I didn't want it to happen. It was a very stupid dream. I may have been watching HBO's Oz before I fell asleep, but but I was afraid of it. But that's the only dream that's coming to mind where it involved any kind of sexualness with the same sex. And I remember a lot of my dreams, people. I've discussed this before. For whatever reason, I have a proclivity to remember in depth a lot of dreams throughout my life. But anywho, how frequent am I having these same-sex sexual dreams or fantasies? Never. I never have them. If there were no people left in the world except for someone of the same sex, you would be happy, as no one would ever flirt with my man-woman. Be disappointed that you are losing out on the other sex. Fall into despair, as you will never have a sexual partner again. Oh, this one only has 3 to choose from. Usually the other ones had 4. Be happy, be disappointed, fall into despair. Well, I wouldn't be happy. And I would be disappointed that it's just this other bro with me. But, again, if we're the last 2 people on Earth, I think we have to be more concerned about survival, day to day, than fucking. But in a perfect scenario, we're humans. We need that release. So I don't know. Eventually, I think we may bang. But I wouldn't be excited about it. At least I can't imagine myself being excited about. But, 3, 4, 6 months, just you two, and there's no other women around, and you just got to knock one out. You're like, you know what? Let's just masturbate together, And then you group masturbate. Next thing you know, you start, I could see that happening. Because fuck it, you're the last 2 people on Earth. Who gives a fuck? There is no God at that point, Nothing matters. Fall into despair, as you will never have a sexual partner again. Well, that implies I'm not fucking the guy and he's not fucking me. Fuck it. If you're the last 2 men on Earth, what the fuck are you gonna do? So, God, I wish there was a 4th option on here that says I'd be upset, but as time goes on, eventually we may bang. That's one I would choose. But if I had to choose either between being happy, being disappointed, or falling into despair, I would be in a despair because it's just I'm just the only one left on the planet Earth with this fucking bro here. I would be depressed, but it wouldn't be because I can't fuck. I feel like not fucking would be like not one of my top priorities. Be disappointed that you're losing out on the other sex. See, I know what that one's implying. It's implying that I have no problem being with this other dude because I like banging dudes, but I also miss not banging chicks. Ugh. Well, if it's only between these three, I definitely wouldn't be happy. I would be disappointed and I would fall into a despair. So, the fact that I'm admitting, and it's just so common sense to me, that the longer the time goes with me and this man as the only two people left on the earth that we eventually would bang, I'd probably choose that one. So I would be disappointed that I am losing out on the other sexual gender or whatever. Have you ever kissed someone of the same sex? Yes, I do it all the time. Once or twice. No way I'm ever doing that. I love kissing people regardless of their sex. Well, obviously it's that one for me. Because I've kissed a lot of my guy friends. But it's never been in a sexual way. It's goofing around or just fucking with somebody. And I do remember I kissed one of my bestie friends on the mouth at a bar so that we could get these two fat trailer park chicks out of our general area. I was at the Pickled Onion with my buddy Sean. We must have been in college. And these two, like, Neanderthal looking, I mean, they had better beards than we did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they look like if Jabba the Hutt was split down the middle and both of those pieces started to talk and walk towards you. That's what these two women look like. They were not good looking is what I'm trying to get across. And they were ginormously overweight, barely having any clothes on. So all of their, like, you know, pale, fleshy, bulbous skin was just dumping out of their clothes. It looked like someone stabbed a full garbage bag of leaves and all the leaves started piling out at this really tight black bag. That's kind of what they look like. But anyway, I digress. We weren't interested. They wouldn't leave us alone. I finally said, fuck it. I said, we're actually a gay couple and you're bothering us. They didn't believe we were gay. Sean played along until they said, all right, if you guys are truly gay, then you have to kiss right now. I looked at Sean. He looked at me. We both made eye contact thinking, bro, we're going to have to do this. These chicks are going to literally eat us alive if we don't do something quick. And so we did a little peck. They didn't like it. So then we kissed a little bit longer. It still wasn't open mouth. But they said, oh, okay, whatever. You guys are disgusting. And then those sexist women left us. But yeah, I don't have a problem kissing one of my best friends or I have no problem with that. So I would choose, I love kissing people regardless of their sex. If your partner offered you a threesome with someone of the same sex, you would feel excited about it. Bring it on. Be confused, but I would probably do it. Never. I only like the opposite sex. Do it as I don't care about the sex of another person. Ooh, this is a tough one because I thought a lot about this. I feel like most guys have. God, even if I truly love this woman and she's like, you know what? We're perfect. We're just perfect. But let's spice things up a little bit. Let's invite Pedro from the gym to come over. And the two of you can just pig roast me. And even if I loved her with every fiber in my being, I don't think I could have sex with my wife or my girlfriend or even a complete stranger and have another man in there doing the same thing. I just don't think I could do it. I have some friends that have no problem with that. One of my best friends has told me some wild stories. I mean, one of my buddies, I don't want to get into it because he may be listening, but I have a couple of guy friends that could give a fuck. But that's them. That's not me. One-on-one sex is hard enough as is with me. You know, I don't want to complicate things and have another penis to compete with. And I don't think I could do that. Even if the guy was just watching and like beating off in the corner, I don't think I could do that either. I couldn't. I'm trying to go through scenarios in my head, and even if it was like this perfect woman said to me, I'll give you everything you ever want, but there's an ultimatum. You have to do this. I don't believe in ultimatums. Even if I love this woman and she was the mother of my children, and she said, you know what? we've been together for 20 years and I'm kind of sick of the same shit we do all the time. Let's bring in a third person. It's an ultimatum. Same thing. Sorry, no ultimatums here. Dunzo. So I guess I would have to choose never. I only like the opposite sex. See, I don't even think I could do a threesome if it was me and 2 women. Because I don't know. I feel like I would just get too worked up. I wouldn't know what to do. If I was spending time with one, I'd feel like I was neglecting the other one. And even if they were just messing around with each other and I'm just sitting there with my dick in my hand, I don't even think I would enjoy that. Because I'd be self-conscious. Like, why are they making out with me? What do I got to do? So, I don't know. Threesomes, maybe not for me. Would you be comfortable with a gay colleague flirting with you at work? That's already happened to me multiple times. Specifically when I worked at those banking jobs. Jesus, all the fucking time. Would you be comfortable with a gay colleague flirting with you at work? Sure, it's a lot of fun. I guess so. It depends on the situation. I would feel very awkward about it. It's never appropriate to flirt at work. Pfft, that fourth option can go suck a D. I ain't no snitch. I have felt awkward about it, but it's only when it's a pushy guy. Like, even outside of work, I've been at bars or I've been at restaurants. I've just been out and a gay guy will hit on me and it's no big deal, but it's the pushy ones, the ones that are trying to alpha dog me. And I'll just be like, dude, you're wasting your time. But again, I have flirted with homosexuals to get what I want. And like, I think I told you the story. I flirted with that gay Subway kid to get free Subway breakfast sandwiches for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. But anyway, that's not what the question is. Would you be comfortable with a gay colleague flirting with you? Well, the time that's happened to me, it never really bothered me. So I guess I would say, I guess so. It depends on the situation. Would I be comfortable? I guess so. It depends on the situation. Yeah, because if he just says, "Hey, I'll just take my shot. You want to go get some drinks afterwards?" I'll say thanks. I'm not interested. I'm not whatever. But if you just want to go get beers, that's cool. But as long as there's no expectation, like I don't want to lead somebody on. You know what I'm saying? So I guess so. It depends on the situation. Your friends decided to go party at a gay bar. You would feel like you're going home. Let's go party. Get excited to check out a new venue. Feel threatened or uncomfortable. Get secretly excited as you always wanted to check out a gay bar. Well, this one's easy. It's the second option. Get excited to check out a new venue. I could give a fuck if it's a gay bar. In fact, I would imagine gay bars make very strong, stiff drinks, and I can get shit-faced cheaply there. And they probably won't have a hard time with me smoking weed in there in my pen in the bathroom or something. So yeah, I'm excited. Plus, I just like checking out new venues anyway. I don't give a fuck if it's a gay bar. Oh, I'm done. Let's see. I wasn't off that much. So I'm 62.5% straight. That's what I thought. I thought I'd be about 60%. I'm 33.33% bi and 4% gay. That sounds about right. That sounds about right for me. That 4% gay is unsurprising because it just doesn't bother me. I just don't want things going in me, and I don't want to put things in anybody else. But I could care less. I judge people by their character, not by their sexual proclivity. So, some of my best friends to this day are gay. Who gives a fuck, And I would encourage them with all their gayness. Who gives a fuck? The bisexual, it makes sense because, again, I can see an attractive man and be like, oh yeah, I bet he smells good. But it's not that I want to, oil him up and throw him on the ground and, rattlesnake roundup with him. But I can still at least admire the attractiveness and wonder things about him that, again, it may seem it's a sexual matter. Like, okay, here's an example. If I ever see Ryan Reynolds, who's probably my number one on my gay list, on my gaydar, but again, if he came up to me and he was like, you know what, I'm leaving my wife, my family, Angelo, let's run away together, I would be excited initially because I get to hang out with a Ryan Reynolds. But then I would be like, oh shit, he's expecting love and stuff. And I don't know if I could do that. But then again, I haven't seen him naked, so who the fuck do I know? Oh, that was fun. So, feel free to take the test and shoot me your results, and I'll talk about it on the podcast if you'd like. But let's move on here. But that was quite fun. That was pretty cool. Let's see. What other nonsense is going on in my life? Oh, that's right. Your boys got jury duty. I didn't know they were still doing jury duty during the quarantine, but then I thought, well, duh, why wouldn't they? The law doesn't stop because of a pandemic. But they did send me a bunch of shit to read about all the precautions they take and what we'll have to do and what we'll have to bring if we get chosen, yada, 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 yada. So, whatever. I'm pretty excited about it because I think that's where I can really shine. Because if it's like a criminal trial involving, drug possession or small-time theft or prostitution or, something stupid like that, that is one of the few times in your American life that you can actually help somebody that you think is getting fucked over by the system. You can vote in elections, and that's also a good way, but you don't really have that much direct control over that. You can scribble in whatever you want to vote for and shoot it off into the machine, but hey, thousands and thousands and millions of people are also doing the same thing you're doing. You're just another cog in the machine, baby. But whereas if you're on a jury, you only have to compete with 10 or 12 other people. I don't know if it's a set number of jurors. I don't fucking know. But that is the one area where you can really say, this poor bastard over here stole, I don't know, a cell phone from Verizon because he couldn't afford his phone bill and he lost all his shit. He can't pay his electricity bill, whatever. And I'd be like, you know what? Fuck Verizon. They should be donating phones to people like that. Some people just need a little bit of help. They should be like loaned a phone by Verizon and be like, hey, we'll give you a free phone for 6 or 8 months. In that meantime, you have to find a job, and then after 8 months, we either have to take the phone back because you're misusing it, or we'll sign you up again if you can prove that you're actually trying to find work. I just made that shit up on the spot. Doesn't that sound kind of cool? And so, if that scenario happened and I'm the juror, I'd be like, you know what, fuck Verizon. I just thought of a really good idea. Yeah, I know what the law says. The law says stealing is bad under every circumstance, and sure, it's not a good idea to steal. However, if you're gonna steal, and you do it from a shit company like Verizon, you have a little bit of my sympathy. That's all I'm saying. And if it's your first or second offense, that's okay too. Now, if it's like your 17th or 20th or 100th offense, I can be like, ooh, this person just doesn't give a fuck no mo. And then that would also affect my voting. I'd be like, I don't know, maybe this person does deserve to be locked up a little bit. But because I just don't like sending somebody that's allegedly guilty of something that I really think is not that big of a deal being sent away to the prison system. But I could just be overthinking this. I highly doubt I'll even be selected. I still have to follow that stupid procedure of calling a week before to see if I was selected. Why can't I just put my name in the computer and be like, yeah, I'm interested, and then whenever that shit happens and they decide, hey, we're going to have the trial, then I can get sent something on my email saying, hey, bozo, you're going to come to court. Okay, cool. I feel like that's a way better system. But what are you going to do? I'm just a small fish in a small pond, you know what I'm saying? But no, I hope I get selected. But if the lawyers or the jury selection people ever listen to my podcast or look at my social media, they'll be looking at me and be like, hey, this motherfucker ain't coming. So I highly doubt I'll get chosen. But if I do, I'm super pumped if I get selected. I'm super excited if it happens. What else is going on? Oh, I wanted to add another actor to my comedy legends list that I was talking about a couple podcasts ago. I was talking about John Candy and, oh God, what kind of thing of the guy? Chris Farley, Belushi, Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen, not Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen, and I can't believe I forgot to put Gene Wilder on there. I love Gene Wilder. I love Mel Brooks in general. Fuck it, Mel Brooks is on the list too. I can't believe he's not on the list either. I mean, that guy is a producer, director, and actor. Motherfucker probably has an EGOT. Does he have an Emmy? I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Gene Wilder is the man. The Chocolate Factory, The Producers, The Frankenstein movie, and Blazing Saddles. I could just keep going. And every movie Gene Wilder made with Richard Pryor, excellent. So yeah, he is a comedy icon to me. Oh, Robin Williams was also on that list. And before you say, geez, Angelo, those guys are all white males. Okay, calm your tits. I'll also put Eddie Murphy on there. I would put Richard Pryor. Fuck, I've seen most of his movies. I think he's a great underrated actor. Eddie Murphy, I don't know. Because I like some of his lesser known movies and his lesser celebrated movies. And I haven't seen some of the bigger ones. Like, I've never seen 48 Hours. I know. Pile it on. I deserve it all. But some of the movies I've seen of him that I hold dear to my heart, the Nutty Professor movies, oh my god. I know the sequel gets shit on, but I enjoy it. So yeah, there's a couple diversity selections there, but are actually truthful. I fucking love those guys. And I'm sure there's more, I can't think right now. What are we talking about race and shit? I'm saying Gene Wilder's awesome when he's on my comedy icon list. God damn. Everything has to be fucking torn apart these days. Let's see. Oh, see, guys, I actually wrote down what I want to talk about this podcast. See, your boy's getting better. He's getting more organized. The shit show is slowly cleaning up here. Bitcoin. Oh yeah, I truly don't understand what Bitcoin is. I understand it's a digital currency. I understand that you can buy software to mine Bitcoin, like in Minecraft or some shit. I don't understand how you actually do that. I know it involves code and algorithms, but I don't quite understand, and those are just buzzwords. I don't truly understand how I can go out and buy a PC, and using that PC, I mine for digital currency. I mean, I understand I'm digitally doing something to get something digitally in return. That I get. All of cryptocurrency, I feel like I understand the base level of it, but it's like a very thin base. Like, it's paper thin. Like, if I poke it with my finger, it's going to tear. It's like those Japanese walls and those sliding door things. You know what I'm talking about? Are they rice doors? Or am I just being racist? Anyway, I don't know what they're called. So yeah, cryptocurrency confuses me. I feel like a real boomer piece of shit when I try to describe things like this to people, because I hear that it's good to invest in Bitcoin, but I also see that one Bitcoin is like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But I also see people that have been holding on to Bitcoin for like years, and they have like 3,000 Bitcoins, and it's worth like 7 figures or even 8 figures. And you're thinking, fuck, it's not even on the gold standard. But I can't even explain the gold standard. Why is our money held up on the gold standard? And that shit, it's manipulated. Oh boy, I can put my Alex Jones tinfoil hat on real quick. But yeah, I don't understand Bitcoin, but I wish that I invested in it when I first heard about it, about 8 years ago, when I first got hired at Amazon. But I didn't have any money back then, so I couldn't invest even if I could. But I could have bought one Bitcoin back then, I bet. But it wasn't even that expensive. Again, I was broke living at home. I didn't have shit, so I couldn't have done it. So yeah, Bitcoin's confusing, but I wish I had some. Let's see. Oh, the Wandavision finale. Yes, like every true red-blooded American, I have been loving WandaVision. However, I have to say, now that the series has concluded, I gotta give it, the finale, a big ol' meh. The finale was like a C+. It teased so much shit. Maybe I got drunk on the hype that I was hearing about. Like, I truly thought there was gonna be some major Marvel type shit. Like, we're gonna get the next Thanos. We were gonna get a couple Avengers in there. Everyone was talking about they were gonna bring back her brother, which they did. But when they did it, it's like, holy shit, that broke the internet, motherfuckers! What the hell's going on here? But then even that payoff pissed me the fuck right off. I mean, I thought they were gonna lead into some kind of Marvel movie multiverse or shit. And by the way, this is gonna get nerdy real quick. I probably should have had a nerd spoiler alert at the beginning. Too late, motherfucker! You're already in too deep. It's like quicksand. Don't move too much, to sink quicker. By the way, wasn't quicksand one of your biggest fears as a kid when you would watch cartoons like the Looney Tunes and shit? I honestly thought Quicksand was everywhere because it was always on TV in these bullshit cartoons. I have never seen Quicksand in the wild. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, WandaVision. I thought there was going to be like a Doctor Strange cameo. I thought they were going to bring back Quicksilver, and then they had Evan Peters as Quicksilver, and you're like, oh shit, that's how they're going to get mutants. Because again, I'm a nerd. I understand Scarlet Witch is a mutant, and she did the House of M story, which I actually own. The graphic novel, it's quite good. It's in protective covering, not so I can protect it from dust. And I don't know. What I'm saying is I just thought it was going to be a bigger payoff. Even the fight scenes were kind of lame. But I got to tell you, I do like the show, and I liked the ending for what it was. Once I, peel back all my expectations and my wants of the finale, and I watch it as it was presented, it was pretty good. Pretty good. I give the overall series probably an A- to a B+, and that's pretty good for me. I hate most things. I tell you, man. Wanda Maximoff. Wow. Elizabeth Olsen is so fine. It makes me angry. I don't know if you guys remember a long time ago, I was ranting about how Gal Gadot, however you say her name, Wonder Woman, how her beauty offends me because she's too good looking. Like, I don't think we are meant to see her with our human eyes. That she's an actual god of some sort. I kind of feel the same way about Elizabeth Olsen. Because I've seen her in interviews on like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, and I've seen some behind the scenes. Who knows how she really is? Because who knows, right? But Jesus, I see her, and I'm just thinking to myself, again, women like that are not meant for mere men like me. In the olden days, if I would have looked at her, I would have been whipped to death because she would have been in a carriage hoisted up by 7 greased up hunks. And I would just be a poor beggar with a hump, and I can't see anything because I got bad vision. And I'd just be saying, please, I want to see the queen. And I would run at the carriage just to peek at the beauty that I have heard described in the bars. And I would see Elizabeth Olsen, and she would sneer down at me. And I would only get a 3-second glimpse of her before one of the hunks punches me, and then they whip me to death. I feel like that's a realistic, probable thing that would have happened if this was only, I don't know, 400 or 500 years ago somewhere, but I digress. I was a big fan of the WandaVision. I love the idea. I love everything about it. I just wish the ending had a much more bigger payoff, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. And I'm super excited for the Winter Soldier one, and I'm excited for the fucking Justice League Snyder Cut and the Godzilla King Kong movie. I'm excited for some movies coming up because I gotta tell you, I really haven't seen a lot of new movies that I have liked. I can only think of maybe Nomadland. Nomadland was excellent. I mean, that movie really did showcase the death of the American dream, or just like the ludicrousness of the expectations of what this country has to have the country is portrayed in what it is in reality. And Judas and the Black Messiah, very depressing. And it was a little, iffy here and there, but overall I enjoyed it. I really did like that movie. But, God, I've seen a lot of newer movies. I mean, I couldn't even get past 30 minutes of some pile of shit on Netflix. I Care a Lot. Ugh, I was excited for that one. I couldn't even get a half hour into that bullshit. And, God, yeah, the Wonder Woman sequel sucked. Tenet sucked. I watched a movie called Mortal. That sucked. Anything that was, like, made or released in 2020, 2021... I don't know. Maybe because obviously the pandemic was fucking up Hollywood, but Jesus, I know I sound like a whiny bitch. First world problems. These free movies aren't that good, but they're really not. So I want to see my Black Widow movie, and I want my King Kong versus Godzilla, and I want my Justice League Snyder Cut. Hey, S-A-P. Whew. Sorry, I went off the rails a little bit there. I just get so excited for movies. But I think I'm going to end it on some funny stuff, I hope. This whole Dr. Seuss, Mr. Potato Head bullshit, this cancel culture nonsense, and all this, I just don't get it. Well, I do get it. It distracts the mass populace from the real shit that's going on, man. But no, conservatives are lambasting the move that Dr. Seuss and the estate took. Well, not Dr. Seuss and Dr. Seuss's estate. I don't know if Dr. Seuss is a real person, but anyway, I'm talking jargon here. The whole point is, I don't understand why conservatives are upset that they're pulling these books. I don't know enough about it for me to really have an opinion. I personally think Dr. Seuss books are amazing, and I think they should be everywhere and be taught in schools, but I haven't looked at these books that have racist imagery and words and all that stuff. Part of me thinks, just throw a disclaimer in the book for the newer generation, but say, we're going to portray this as they were portrayed, but just know some of the shit hasn't aged well. Don't get offended, and then you could even use it as a teaching lesson. Here's why people thought the way they thought back then. I don't know. I assume that a lot of it was World War II related, because Dr. Seuss did do a lot of shit during World War II for anti-communism, anti-Nazism, anti-fascism. But he also made some war stuff that used the term Jap a lot. So I understand those words aren't, you shouldn't use those words anymore. But anyway, again, I don't know the stuff. I don't know enough about it. But that's my knee-jerk reaction. But I'm fairly certain that I remember conservatives hating Dr. Seuss, 10 years ago when that Lorax movie came out with Danny DeVito playing the Lorax Save the Trees, and all the conservatives, it's this bullshit global warming, Green New Deal, they're tree huggers, they're trying to warp kids into thinking climate change is real and all that nonsense. And now they're defending Dr. Seuss. But the whole point is, who gives a fuck? Is Dr. Seuss really that something to get that worked up about? Who gives a fuck? Same thing with Mr. Potato Head. Oh, Mr. Potato Head is a national treasure. You want to change the name to Potato Head? Why are you getting upset? It's a toy. This thing isn't real. And if it is real, it's a talking potato. Kill it. That shouldn't be alive. But again, who gives a fuck? And I saw the new design of the box. And yes, it has a giant lettering Potato Head. But then in the bottom left corner, this little white box, it still says Mr. Potato Head. So I don't understand. I feel like if you're going to do that, that should appease both parties. But that's probably going to piss off both parties. Who the fuck knows? I do believe that there is this cancel culture on both sides. But really, I think we have a whiny bitch problem. Everyone is just whiny and judgmental and just bored and everyone's just a judgy cunt, and I don't understand it. I've worked very hard on getting my anger and my boredom, my judgment and all that stuff kind of under control, but I still have relapses, sure, but I don't dedicate my life to it. I don't try to ruin people by scouring their old social media posts or rant about politicians that did something awful 20 years ago, even if they have apologized for it or have addressed it. People fucking change. Who cares? Oh, that senator wore blackface in college. Well, how old is the senator? He's in his 70s. Oh, so he was in college in the fucking 60s? Yeah, that's what happened back then. Unfortunately, it was very common. You can't tell the guy canceled. It's the same fucking thing. And it's on the other side, too. I don't want to get into that. My point being, who gives a fuck? It's a Dr. Seuss books. Those things are to be celebrated, not argued over whether or not whatever. And Mr. Potato Head, it's a fucking children's toy. Who gives a fuck? Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head were in Toy Story, and I highly doubt any kids watch that movie and think, you know what? I really wish it wasn't Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I wish it was him, her head. I wish it was him, her potato head. Can we just have a genderless potato? Because guess what? In real life, gender doesn't exist in potatoes. But you know what? Now that I said it, I gotta check now, because I'm pretty sure all plants and vegetables and fruit and shit are asexual. So let's see. Do potatoes have sex? Have asex. I don't want to see two potatoes fucking here. Yeah, exactly. They're like every other fucking plant. Asexual reproduction. So you know what? We're talking about a gender of a fucking thing that doesn't even have a gender. So, if you're getting worked up about those two things, just put your head in the oven and turn it on high. on that happy note, we're going to wrap this mofo up. I love y'all. I want y'all to take it sleazy. I want y'all to have a good time. And, yeah. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.